Share Beirut presents Omar Christidis, arabnets.
Hi, everyone. Oh, it's bright up here, huh? Great. So I was thinking a lot about what to talk about today, and I thought that I would give a little bit more of a theoretical talk about identity transformation. What I do for a living is I run Arabnet. Arabnet is a hub for professionals and entrepreneurs to connect and learn. We have our website where we write about everything related to the web and mobile industry, and we also run a series of events, conferences focused on the digital sector, and focus on entrepreneurship as well. So we have competitions for entrepreneurs to pitch their ideas in startups and connect with investors and media and executives. This is our big event. It's the ArabNet Digital Summit. It took place in March, the most recently, and we had 1,200 people attending. We had 14,000 people who watched it over live stream, and we had 27,000 tweets about the event. Here's another picture. We had this massive screen that we had up. But before I started doing this, I actually studied political theory and identity theory in college. And this is what I was really interested in. So I want to talk to you about give you a framework, a theoretical framework to understand some of the identity transformations that are taking place in the Arab Spring. And what I'm going to really talk about is a man named Mark Beisinger. He's a Princeton professor and a Sovietologist. He studied the fall of the Soviet Union, and he wrote a book called Nationalist Mobilization and the Collapse of the Soviet State. And what he does in this is he uses events as a kind of a lens through which he studies identity transformation across the region. Now, I have to warn you, it's pretty heavy. So I will need your focus with me as we go through some of the quotes from here. It's philosophy, it's theory, let's do it. First, what is an event? Beisinger defines an event as contentious and potentially subversive acts that challenge normalized practices, modes of causation, or systems of authority. So an event is kind of something that challenges the status quo, so like a protest. Events constitute moments of heightened contention when the choice between competing forms of identity must be made. So not only is it a challenge of the status quo, it is a situation in which the individuals are asked to choose between different forms of identity. And not only is it the individual who's forced to choose, but it's the crowd. So events can alter cultural meanings or significations of political and social categories and fundamentally shape people's collective loyalties and actions. Right? We've just been hearing Quinn talk about how all of these collectives work and create these identities. This is really what I want to talk about. Great. So how can events have so much transformative power? Why do they have so much transformative power? Well, one, there are two reasons. The first, the uncertainty of outcome. Whereas the identity represented in the map, museum, and census is already predefined by others, that represented in the contentious event is defined in significant part in the course of action itself. So, when people are going out and protesting, they're actually creating this new identity, and by creating the new identity, they're embracing it. They are more likely to transform their identity. This is the theory. It is this uncertainty of cultural transaction within the event that gives specific events the power to transform. Now, the other thing that really makes events powerful is the audience. So, as opposed to diffuse acts of hidden resistance, the desired presence of a larger audience lends a spectacle-like quality to an event and provides it with much of the transformative power. Events don't take place in a vacuum. They take place and people are watching. And when these events happen and people are watching, those people are invited to become part of this event, invited to make similar identity choices as the people who are actually participating are making. An event, in this sense, invites the observer to become agent, to affirm the transcendence of a prior series. A prior identity is transcended, and the ascendance of its alternative, a new identity ascends. So, break one from the theory, right? Let's try to apply this a little bit. Old identity, right? This is representing tradition, fat state, corruption, nepotism, closed-offedness, right? And so people go into the street into these events to protest, right? They protest, and in this process, the outcome is uncertain, and they create this new identity. They create their own slogans, "Ash-Sha'b yurid isqat al-Nizam," which spreads to become a foundation of this new collective identity. In the same way, we have our own heroes and martyrs, right? Wa'il Ghunaim, Khalid Saeed. These are the people who come to represent this new identity. And most importantly, this event taking place in the streets gets broadcast. So there is the spectacle-like quality. The crowd is watching, and everyone in their homes is forced to choose a side. Where are they? What is their identity? Who are they? Great. So we now have these events. What happens next? So Beisinger says, events become viral. He says, challenging acts are linked sequentially to one another across time and space in numerous ways. In the narratives of struggle that accompany them, the narratives of struggle, that similar narratives of struggle in every place. In the altered expectation that they generate about subsequent possibilities to contest, right? So all of a sudden we have a successful revolution in one place, it alters the way that we think about the possibility of success in another country, and another country, and another country. In the changes that they evoke in the behavior of those forces that uphold a given order, in the way that the regimes dig their heels in, it changes the way that they react and puts a starker contrast between these competing identities. And in a transformed landscape of meaning that events at times fashion. As the constraints of order weaken, the clustering and linkages of contentious events themselves provide a structure-like patterning of action. So this is what I call the Arab Spring, right? These events start to create a pattern. And this pattern now has a particular weight and alters expectations about the possibilities for future action. And this is the Arab Spring. The events begin to become causing one another. They become contributors and causes too, as they spread from one country to the next and to the next, spreading this new form of identification. So what? Beisinger says we are now living in a moment of thickened history. So what is thickened history? He says, a period of thickened history is one in which the pace of challenging events quickens to the point that it becomes practically impossible to comprehend them, and they come to constitute an increasingly significant part of their own causal structure. They become viral. One event starts causing the next event, starts causing the next event. Ideas and symbols and language spreads from one person to the next, forming these new emerging identities. And in this period, they can affect the prisms through which individuals relate to authority, consolidate conviction around new norms, and force individuals to make choices among competing categories of identity about which they may have previously given little thought about, all within an extremely compressed period of time. This is the time that we are in. We are in a time where identities are rapidly changing across the region. So this is really all that I wanted to say. I wanted to give us a bit of framework to think about what's going on around us and how things spread so quickly and why. I want to take a moment to do a little bit of a shameless plug. As ArabNet, we run a number of activities, and one of the activities that's coming up now is really focused on developers. Are there developers in the audience here? Awesome. So what we're doing is we're running something called the ArabNet Developer Tournament. It's a tournament across 5 countries, local competitions, 12 hours of coding, where the winners in each country, 4 winners, will win cash prizes, and they'll also win the ability to represent their country in the championship round. So it's kind of like an Arab Idol for developers. And the first one, the Lebanese competition, is taking place next Saturday, 1 week from today, in Beirut. We invite you all to come and compete and win cash prizes and represent your country, and of course, kind of be the superstar of the Lebanese development scene. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.